Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. CBS Sports had a piece up on their college football website by Blake Brockermeyer that ranks the top 100 college football players entering the 2024 season. And LSU was well represented in the list. Will Campbell comes in at number 6. Harold Perkins comes in at number 16. Mason Taylor checks in at number 48. And Emory Jones checks in at number 61. And I don't have a significant issue with any of that. I think Will Campbell is one of the 10 best players in college football. I think Harold Perkins is an explosive playmaker on the defensive side of the ball that you can plug him in at 16. Mason Taylor, it surprised me to see him at number 48, but he's got a signature moment, a name that's got a real good pedigree behind it, and he's a third-year player at a high-profile program. And then Emory Jones, I think we all think is poised to have an all-league type year. So I agree with all of those rankings. Where I did have a little bit of an issue is in the blurb about Harold Perkins, and I'll read it to you. This is from Blake Brockermeyer, and then I'll tell you why I disagree a little bit. Says Perkins, first of all, it says LSU edge Harold Perkins Jr. In the blurb, it says Perkins is one of the nation's most dynamic players. LSU misused him most of last season, and it cost the defensive staff their jobs. It was a wasted year playing in the box for somebody who should be wreaking havoc on the edge. This is a contract year for somebody who draws Micah Parsons comps. Okay, let's unpack that in its entirety. Perkins is one of the nation's most dynamic players. Yes, absolutely, I agree with that. He was a 5-star recruit, maybe the best running back in the state of Texas. Thought of as a defensive player, absolutely dynamic. We saw him announce his presence in the Arkansas game a couple years ago. LSU misused him most of last season. Yes, I think that there's a chance that Harold Perkins was not put in a position to succeed, specifically in the game against Florida State. It cost the defensive staff their jobs. I wouldn't go that far. There were a lot more issues than where Harold Perkins lined up last year as it pertains to LSU's defense. Said it was a wasted year playing in the box for somebody who should be wreaking havoc on the edge. I'm halfway on that. And then it's a contract year for somebody who draws Micah Parsons comps. Micah Parsons is probably the best defensive player in the NFL today now that Aaron Donald has moved on. And when you start talking about a contract year, you're talking about the NFL. You've now moved away from college football when you speak to a contract year for Micah Parsons. You're saying the NFL is looking at him to throw a lot of money at him. Okay. I understand the Micah Parsons comps, what Micah Parsons does in the NFL on Sundays right now, and what Harold Perkins can do on Saturdays right now. I do not believe in the Micah Parsons comps when we start talking about what Harold Perkins can do in the NFL in 2025.
But also they're not comparable in terms of size either.
That's the next note.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. But that's the point. Harold Perkins is 6'1", 220 pounds. Micah Parsons is 6'3", 245. Harold Perkins can wear out Arkansas's right tackle. We've seen it. I know that. I don't know if he can wear out the Jets' right tackle. I don't know who plays right tackle for the Jets, but he's 6'1", 220. My question is, find me anyone who spends a lot of time on a defensive edge in the NFL that is 6'1", 220 pounds. I'll give him 8 pounds and get him at 6'1", 228. That, to me, doesn't exist. I am happy to say I'm wrong if someone in the Bayou Ford chat or someone who sees this on Twitter or who sees this on YouTube and wants to comment on the page below and has a great example of a 6'1", 225-pound edge rusher. If that exists, I will hold my hand, especially an elite one, I'll hold my hand up and go, okay, well, tell me more. But like Justin Houston is 6'3", 270. Clay Matthews, 6'3", 240. Von Miller, 6'3", 250. Harold Perkins is never going to weigh 250 pounds, I don't think. I just don't think it's realistic to put 30 pounds on him. You're going to lose the dynamic playmaker that he is. And that's why I push back when I hear people say, put him on the edge and leave him there. This has him ranked as the 16th best player in the country at edge. I don't know that I agree with that. Do we know that Harold Perkins is awesome at standing up, reading the play, and tackling a running back? At playing the read out? Like, I know he's really good on 3rd and 8 at rushing the passer. I know he's good if he's got a lead and he can pin his ears back and go. But I don't know that he's Micah Parsons. And like when you say it was a wasted year last year, I realize you want development from year to year, but he played 14 games as a freshman and 13 as a sophomore. Obviously, you throw in the SEC championship game. He went from 72 tackles to 75. He went from 39 solo tackles to 43. He went from 13 tackles for loss to 13 tackles for loss. He had 2 more sacks as a freshman than he did as a sophomore in 1 more game. Incidentally, I looked this up. Every sack Harold Perkins has ever had, which quick math there is 13 sacks at LSU, all in the SEC. Never a non-conference sack. But his stats were basically very comparable. Now, if you want to tell me he should take a bigger jump, like, I'm not going to push back on that. He didn't play a lot in some of the games as a freshman. He didn't play really at all against Florida State. So it's not a perfect analogy, and I'm putting all the cards on the table there as I break this down. But like suggesting that they took a 15-sack guy and locked him in a closet, I think is disingenuous. And to suggest that he's going to play like Micah Parsons in the NFL, to me, is disingenuous. To me, there's got to be a balance with Harold Perkins at LSU. Yes, if you are up 17 points early in the 4th quarter, put him on the edge and let him run. Yes, if it is 3rd and 11, put him on the edge and make a tackle's life miserable. But he's got to learn to do some other stuff, because if he's going to be an impactful NFL player at 6'1", 225 pounds, he needs to learn how to play in the field of play, cover some people, read and react to gaps, tackle running backs. He's not just an edge rusher, because Pro Bowl tackles are going to swallow him whole if he's doing that the entire game. There will be a time that Harold Perkins can rush the passer in the NFL, but he can't play like Von Miller. So to leave Harold Perkins on the edge and have him not develop at all as a linebacker in the middle of the field, to me, if I was an NFL scout, I would look at that and go, yeah, that looks really good against Mississippi State, but how does that look against the Seahawks? Well, probably not great if he does that 65 times in a game. You've got to develop him to improve his draft stock so that the next Harold Perkins that comes along, that can be the 16th ranked player in college football entering a season by CBS, wants to show up and play for you because you prove you can develop guys and get them to the NFL. No, it is not the only thing that you're trying to do when you attract talent. Just move them on to the NFL. NFL. No, you've got to win games. That's job number 1 for LSU's football coach. But part of winning games is getting the next Harold Perkins, and if you don't treat this one the way that you need to treat him, you may not get the next one. So I'm thrilled that LSU has 4 of the top 61 players in the country by CBS. And I'm thrilled that Harold Perkins is on the team. But to call him an edge and say he's got Micah Parsons comps and say he was completely wasted last year, I don't think is telling the whole story. Now, I'm not Blake Brockermeyer, and I don't have his job, but I would think it would be difficult to go through every player in college football to come up with a top 100 and know everything about every player. That's a hard thing to do nationally. We got 85 guys to worry about in football. We got 30 guys to worry about in baseball. We got 12 to worry about in basketball in this market. We can handle that and know the story inside and out. Trying to do the entire country is a tough ask. But I take a little bit of issue with this, and my suggestion to Blake Baker would be keep Harold Perkins in pass rush packages, which they have, but help him learn to be an impact player in the middle of a defense, because that's something he's going to need as well. And oh yes, he will need to show that he can cover some people too. No, I do not want, like Florida State did last year, him getting schemed out into the field every single play. That's bad. I will admit that. But you got to do both. And I think that Blake Baker is poised to do that. And I think Harold Perkins will have a really, really good junior year here at LSU. If you're looking for LSU football content, you can always find it on YouTube. Hunt on LSU is our YouTube channel. Hunt on LSU. Subscribe up to it, whether it's recruiting news, transfer portal news, lists that have LSU players on them. We'll be talking about it all year long. Hunt on LSU. Subscribe to it so those videos go right to your homepage as you log on to YouTube. We'll take one more time out. Come back and get out of here because my voice has not got a ton left in it. We'll do 15 more minutes coming up. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.